Triple H from Evolution with the sleek hair, and Dean Ambrose coming back looking like Triple H.
Well, that is an old
corporate.
I don't know.
Coming back looking
These
like
pictures I got from the .com. I'm looking at this and like, shame on you, WWE. For
no,
posting
because
this old
they
picture.
did the SummerSlam logo, the actual like SummerSlam spot on SmackDown, and they had him looking all Triple H badass with himself behind Seth Rollins. Like this is the card that they put on the .com, but the one that they put on the shows is updated and it looks badass.
You know what else looks badass? Dolph Ziggler's flowing hair.
Yeah.
No, it makes
It looks.
No.
I'm sorry. His hair looks fantastic.
It looks super 80s, just like
And,
the man
and you know what?
himself.
It's got to be
fits.
back to the ponytail when it comes to wrestling. So
Oh yeah,
that's it.
that may be the case, but
but
I enjoyed the hair while we had it.
yeah.
So did Dean Ambrose.
But you know what?
Did he?
You know what? I actually think he looks better now, and it's gonna play into
Dean Ambrose?
what. Yes, it's gonna
Yeah.
play into what I think is gonna happen here. I was on the Dolph Ziggler retain train until Monday night. Okay, and then I thought, the more money move here is to have Dean Ambrose help Seth Rollins win the Intercontinental title, and then while they're celebrating the win, just turn on him and annihilate him. Decimate him. Have the heel turn at SummerSlam, because he came out looking like he wanted to destroy everybody. And he was looking at Seth Rollins too. So I was like, and with everything coming out, like Seth Rollins saying in an interview that the Dean Ambrose injury was a blessing in disguise, and
It
all
was.
all that stuff. Okay, yes, in more ways than one. That interview gives Dean Ambrose a reason to turn on you, and it's also okay. We can get that actual lunatic Dean Ambrose that we've wanted for so long, and now
he looks like it.
now he's got the look to back it up. So
he looked big.
he looked big and he looked pissed. So
I
I'm
said it
like-
before and I'll say it again. Dean Jacked Bros looked like he just broke out of prison, came back to Earth, and is ready to fight Thanos.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah,
It makes you look at that picture and be like, yeah, that is not the same person at all.
so
Like,
it's like
this is mid card Dean Ambrose. The one that came back is main event Dean Ambrose.
yeah. So it's like, I figure with that one, you want to do that right away. Okay, you don't hang on to face Dean Ambrose for a couple months and then do it like that. With the way he was looking on Monday night, you do that turn right away, I feel, and then you're set up for awesome Intercontinental title feud. Face Seth Rollins, heel Dean Ambrose throughout the fall. Where does that leave Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre? I don't know, and that's the only thing holding me back on it right now. But what I want, this is where I'm going with what I want on this one. And it's Seth Rollins winning, Dean Ambrose turning on him immediately. And we get we get the complete opposite of what we had throughout the fall, throughout the summer and fall in 14? Mm-hmm. 2014. We get the complete opposite, and this will put Dean Ambrose is already there, but this will put him even further over the top as one of the great characters of WWE.
Yeah, I don't think it's too far of a stretch to say that the return of Dean Ambrose really shook everything up when it comes to this feud and the rest of the show as a whole. That being said, I'm going to go with Seth Rollins, not specifically for the reasons you mentioned, but for just for a simple fact that I can visualize more options for coming from a Seth Rollins victory. You can have, whether it's having Dean Ambrose turn heel, or whether it's, one thing I'm seeing is that they can either have this feud continue now that the extra help has been canceled out. Either Seth Rollins and Dolph Ziggler either continue their feud and Dean and Drew McIntyre kick off of their feud, or they might even be able to switch dance partners where Seth fights Drew for a while and then Ziggler goes after Dean Ambrose.
And you can also bring the tag team titles into it at some point.
I wouldn't say throw in the tag team titles. I see this feud going a lot longer past SummerSlam, especially now with Dean Ambrose back. It's like I mentioned earlier, Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. Yes, please. So I don't think a heel turn, at least a Dean heel turn, is happening. At least not right now. He definitely now has more of a look to make a heel turn.
That's why I was like, oh God, he came out looking like that. Do it now. That's it.
Like I see it happening in the future, maybe even this year, but
for like a WrestleMania.
But yeah, have it be Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose fighting for the Intercontinental Championship at Mania. Why not? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I see this feud continuing past SummerSlam, but I'm also gonna pick Seth Rollins in a successful in recapturing the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, it just makes more sense. Dean Ambrose doesn't come back to cause a loss.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So
even though Dolph has been doing wonders as Intercontinental Champion, him and Drew are a great combo, and like I said, I hope they don't break them up anytime soon.
Hopefully not. But in the meantime, now we're approaching the end of the SummerSlam show with our two main events. First, with AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for the WWE Championship.
Who's up?
I believe it's mine. Yeah, flat out, this I had to go back and forth with for a little while. I'm going with AJ Styles for one simple reason. I don't think it's the right time yet. I think it's a little too soon for Joe. I think Joe is right on the right track. But I think this is another one of those cases where they're going to prolong the feud for a little while. AJ's going to retain, and then they have another match next month, or maybe in the next couple months. But they seem to know that they've got money with these guys too. I don't think they want to pass it up or leave it on the table. So therefore, to get us there, I'm going to say AJ retains.
I'm going to go with AJ retains as well. The beginning of I don't want this feud to, it's like, oh, I don't want a title change just because, like, stemming from Samoa Joe reading a letter. Oh, and making this like, oh, your family wants you home. I want them to reach at a more professional, I guess, a more professional, personal, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But yeah, the beginning, like, this feud has to continue on for it to actually build a better story than what we're having right now. But yeah, I'm going to go with AJ Styles. And yeah, Samoa Joe, WWE is very high on Samoa Joe. It's just a matter of time before he actually does win the title. It's just not now.
Mm-hmm. I honestly don't see AJ Styles losing the title for a little while now. I don't see him losing it in the next little bit. So this is one match where I can see a no contest happening and it actually making sense.
Yeah, I actually would be okay with that.
But if somebody had to win, it's AJ Styles to retain. Mm-hmm. Like, I can see, like, everything building up, like, I can see a no contest happening. But if we're picking victories,
I could see that.
If we're picking a victory, it's got to be AJ Styles. Mm-hmm. I don't see him losing the title. I feel like they want somebody who's actually into wrestling to beat CM Punk's streak. So I can see him holding the title for a very long time after this. So I'm gonna be AJ Styles for the next little bit, but the only one I can really see beating him right now is Samoa Joe. But I don't think it's going to happen here. I don't think it's going to happen for a little while. And AJ Styles to retain with a very good shot of it being a no contest.
Yeah, I'm not sure if AJ Styles has just recently beaten CM Punk's record yet.
He's not close.
He beat JBL. I think, when did he win it?
I'm not sure.
I think it was like, he had it before November. He won it in the lead up to Survivor Series.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Are you looking up right now?
How long he's had the belt? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He won it from Jinder Mahal leading up to Survivor Series, and that's how we got AJ Styles versus Brock Lesnar.
Let's see, Reigns.
So we're looking at 200-something days.
Oh, maybe I just saw some sort of post-stab context somewhere.
He's had it for 281 days.
Okay, there you go.
And for him to beat Punk's record...
It would probably be like January, right?
Punk had 434 days.
There you go.
So he still has a pretty long way to go.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, like I was under the impression that I want him to hold it till WrestleMania, and that's when he loses it. That way he'd beat the streak, and then someone would come to beat him, maybe Daniel Bryan, maybe Samoa Joe, one of those two, I could see. And depending on how over creepy Randy Orton gets, that's it. I can see that happening too.
At least tonight we're all in agreement, AJ Styles.
Yes.
We all agree AJ Styles. He would need 153 more days. 153.
Aha.
Aha.
Anyway, finally moving on to our final match on the card. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Who do you got?
Get this long going story of Roman Reigns going for the title. Let it come to an end. Roman Reigns.
I'm done with Brock Lesnar as champion. I don't care who walks out with the title, but someone new has to walk out, whether it's a cash in or not. And at this point, okay, they keep baiting us with Roman Reigns getting his ass beat the week before the pay-per-view and then losing at the pay-per-view. I think it's time. I want it to be time so we can get this stupid storyline of we can get what they're trying to do with Roman Reigns as the top face of the company. Let's actually kick it off, please. Whether it's real or not, whether the people like it or not, let's just get this thing going. Roman Reigns to win.
I'm going to say no to that for a number of reasons and pick Brock Lesnar to win, and I'll explain why. Number one, I've got to believe that they've already tried to crown him as the guy, Roman Reigns as the guy. They tried to brute force it at WrestleMania a couple years ago. We all know what that worked like. They got their way. He's still the guy in the eyes of WWE. We all know that. However, he doesn't necessarily need to have the belt to do it. That's number one. Number two, assuming that Brock is on his way out, as he claims to be, there's been some rumors that he's going to be renegotiating, or at least talking, with Vince McMahon hours before the pay-per-view, so things could still change. But I'm personally of the opinion that they're going to want to have Brock leave on a strong note so when he goes back to the UFC, has his fun, and then eventually comes back, he will still be strong, and maybe even Brock will request that so he continues